4 topics. That is your development, Unit 11, Development Corporations for Weaker Sections, Unit 12, Interstate Relations, and the Unit 13, Development Projects, Rehabilitation and Resettlement, Unit 4, Digitalization. First, we will start talking about, we will try to focus on Unit 11, Development Corporations for Weaker Sections. Now, what do we understand by the term development? Development is moving from one stage of working on things to the another stage, where that is, for a student, we can say moving on from one class to the other class. For a person, employed person, from moving from one job to the better job, and moving from one better aspect to the another level of better aspects. That is, development can be explained as moving from one state to another developmental state. So in this, why we are talking about developmental corporations for weaker sections. Now we have discussed now we have understood what is development. Now we will understand what are weaker sections. Weaker sections are the deprived sections of the society who are not being given the privilege of all the things which were being exercised or which were being taken up by the other sections of the society. That is, in aspects of education or in employment, or all these aspects, economical, social aspects, we can say. So in this, now who come under these weaker sections? Weaker sections. Now we cannot only say that these weaker sections are the SC. The weaker sections are SCs, STs, BCs, and minorities. Now these are termed as the weaker sections of the society based on their social recognition, where their social standards, or we can say based on the social the caste. So that we can there can be another part of the sections of the society based on the economical standards. That is, the forward class people also might be termed as economically backward classes. Economically, they are not socially backward, they are economically backward, who don't reach up to the cost of living of the present scenario, who are unable to provide all the facilities needed for them in the present scenario, we can say. So the government of India has come out, and when we are talking about, it might be the government of India or the government of Telangana, as in this semester we are talking about the state administration. So in this, the state of Telangana or the government of India comes out with many important provisions, that is schemes or programs, and they have established many corporations to take care of these weaker sections, for the upliftment of these weaker sections. So we can say that the weaker sections have been from past, if we say, or if we relate from the past, if we go back into the history, we can see that the weaker sections have been given more importance in the present scenario, and they are striving, and moreover, they are also coming out and striving and putting their, we can say, effort in getting better opportunities, getting better standards of living, and achieving target goals, and trying to prove themselves in the society, whereby explaining the society that we are not backward sections, or no, we are not weaker sections. Now, to compensate that they are from weaker sections, and they have to prove themselves at times. To complement this, the government of India as well as the state government is also striving to bring about many things to make this all possible. So in this development corporations for weaker sections, we can say the marginalized communities come into focus. Now, what are these corporations and are they needed for the upliftment of these marginalized sections? Yes, we can say that yes, these corporations. Now, how can these corporations come into existence? How they are to be taken into consideration? That is, these corporations are registered under the Societies Act 1964. These corporations are registered under the sections under the Societies Act 1964, and they work as a non-profit organizations and offer welfare and economic activities to the target group of the respective finance corporations. That is, they lend financial assistance. What is the work of these finance corporations or the corporations is to lend, or we can say they lend economic activity, they lend economic assistance to uplift these weaker sections. So we can say that there is a much need for the government to take focus or to bring about focus and to address the problems of these marginalized sections and make them eligible to be in the society, or we can say make them ready for the societies, make them ready for the society's competition. Now, what are the important needs for separate cooperation? There are, we can say, there are two types of, or we can say types of corporations. That is, the first type is established under separate act of parliament or legislature. Means these things can be established, these corporations can be established through the act of parliament or the state legislature. And the second type is as registered under Societies Act. As I told you in the initial class, that the Societies Act of 1964, this has been given the power of registering corporations which help or which lend a helping hand to these marginalized sections. Now, under this, to provide the needy, to address the needy, the first one is the types of corporations which help them to address the needy people. Then the second one we can say is the government initiatives. Now, to provide fair opportunities to the people in the welfare and economic sectors, generating adequate employment and income to the weaker sections, these separate public corporations have been established. So to uplift in all the sectors, it might be social sector, it might be economical sector, in all the sectors, these corporations strive to bring about or uplift the weaker sections. So in this, we can say that on all the grounds, it is the responsibility of the governments, either it might be in the state government or the central government. Both of them have the equal responsibility and duty to provide and to uplift the people of these weaker sections. And on the political scenario, we see that on the political scenario, we see these politicians, they treat these marginalized sections as their vote bank. And when the elections come, they target these people and target these people by providing them better, promising them better opportunities, giving them money, gifts, so only to make them vote for their party. This is a political scenario, we can say. But on the administrative scenario, or on the administrative aspects, the politicians in the government are the government people. So they have to, as they are the elected representatives who have to take care of the people, and as well as they have to bring about initiatives. They have to bring about initiatives which will help them in the developmental aspects. So the next one in this is the characteristics of development corporations. there are some of the characteristics of these corporations. That is, they are established under Cooperative Act of 1964, and they are governed by governing body or board of directors. That is, they are being governed by a board of directors. That is, what decisions have to be taken, how they have to be taken, whom should be responsible for these decisions, how to bring about these decisions onto one platform, how to take them into the people, and how to address the grievances of the people, weaker sections through these decisions. All these matter a lot when they are trying to bring about changes. So, and another important characteristic feature we can say is autonomy in day-to-day administration. That autonomy means decision-taking power. That is, all the power and authority should be, most of the power, I can say, most of the power should be vested on these corporations so that they can take decisions in an easy manner and in a quick manner, so as to bring about some desired changes. Because we see that if they don't go by these things, if the authority and responsibility is not vested on them, then the decisions might be pending, and they had to rely on the people who who make the decisions. So it might become a difficult task for them in going on with the problems and the grievances of the citizens. So, and these are the non-profit bodies also. These are the non-profit bodies or institutions, means they don't expect anything from the people. They only give, they only try to bring about awareness and provide assistance. It might be economical assistance, that is 0% interest rates, or providing them assistance to set up their own, we can say, to set up their own factory or small scale industry or our own business, whereby giving them a helping hand to earn their living on their terms and conditions. And they also, the next characteristic feature we can say is formulate rules and regulations in the implementation of the programs. That is, to provide, that is, the formulation of rules and regulations. The rules and regulations have to be framed, because nobody should take up whatever decisions they wish to. They have to address the problems of the citizens, and they have to have some rules and regulations, whereby when we have these rules and regulations, the people who are working in the corporation will be abiding by the rules and regulations, and also the people who are availing these benefits will also be in the pursuit of the rules and regulations. Otherwise, the decision making will be different, and everybody will do whatever they wish to. So this might be a most important characteristic features of this, the developmental corporations. Now we have many developmental corporations for the weaker sections. We can say, to name a few: State Scheduled Caste Cooperative Finance Corporation, State Scheduled Tribes Cooperative Finance Corporation. Then we have the State Minorities Cooperative Finance Commission, then the Backward Class Finance Corporations. Now, each individual community has their own finance corporations, which will help them to. Now, why we are having these separate corporations for different caste people or different weaker section people? Because it will be, we can say, it will be easy to identify the people who are lagging behind economically, socially, and also to give them better opportunities. Because if each and every section is focused, then the target groups can be achieved. Then the whatever necessary programs or initiatives which have to be taken up can be taken up in a very positive manner, then it will be we can say it will be a very, very positive aspect to address these problems. Now, in this state scheduled caste cooperative finance corporations, we can see many programs which have been coming up. That is land purchase scheme, that is purchasing of land and assigning some land will be given to this corporations, and they will be distributing it to the people or the beneficiaries who are economically backward. And multiple irrigation or minor irrigation schemes, whereby providing groundwater facilities and surface water schemes to cultivate land, and moreover providing skill development programs to all the beneficiaries of SCs, STs, weaker sections, and as well as the minorities, which will also create a better environment that somebody is taking care of us. Ultimately, it is the government is trying to provide these marginalized sections that they are being taken care of. Now, being taken care of itself makes one person be feeling that, yes, somebody is there to take care of me. And that gives a more boosting, and that provides them better opportunities as well. And also it gives them a zeal to perform well. And they will not feel the deprivation. If they are encountering any deprivation or anything, then they will try to counter that, and they will feel that oneness, that somebody is there or the government is there to take care of us. So we can also be being taken care of, and we can uplift ourselves. So we can say that this set of people, these set of weaker sections will be beneficial in this regard. So we can say that these weaker sections can be given the opportunities, and moreover, apart from these marginalized sections, now in these marginalized sections, we try to discuss about the SCs, STs, minorities, and the backward classes. But in all, as I told you, economically backward people are also there from the forward classes, and also moreover, women are also being treated as a marginalized. Why? Because most of the women, they are more, we see now, but present scenario, we can see more of employment opportunities to the women. But if you go to the rural sector, rural background, rural areas, we see more women are into physical labor, working in the fields as daily wage laborers, because they are unemployed. They are, we can say, don't have better education. They don't know, they don't have the awareness of going on or performing their own or creating their own skill development programs. So for this, what the government has done, it has started the scheme called as SHGs, self-help groups. Now, through these self-help groups, the state government has created an initiative whereby providing the women of the marginalized sections, or the women who are not economically sound, to be providing them with 0% interest rate loans to set up their own, we can say, set up their business, like beauty parlors, or we can say setting up of basket making, tailoring, or any of the other initiative whereby they can stand on their legs, and or we can say they can stand on their feet to earn their own living and also contribute. Now, this also contributes to their welfare, the overall development of their family as well. And also through these initiatives, government is providing them financial assistance and as well as providing them training programs to develop, because every woman might not be able to have a better skills. So it is a very good platform, we can say, of these creating of corporations of the government by the government, whereby giving them an opportunity to showcase their talent, capabilities, inner capabilities. We see many times that many of them, they have inner capabilities and they don't come out in usually. So through these programs, through these initiatives and through these training programs, the government will be able to provide them a platform and an encouragement to develop in their particular standards. So this is all about the Unit 11, Development Corporations for Weaker Sections. Next, we will try to move on to Unit 12, Interstate Relations. Now, before moving on to interstate relations, we have to first focus on, as we have, governments are classified into two, unitary and federal. Unitary, what do we understand by the term unitary? Unitary means all the power will be vested on one system or one government, that is the central government. But and the federal is when distribution of power to bring about better development, that is federal. In India, we follow federalism, that is federal form of government. Hence, we have two governments, one at the center and one at the state level. Ultimately, the center will be focusing on all the country issues and the overall development of the country, and the decisions which are being taken by the central government will be implemented all over the country. But whereas the state government initiatives, or we can say the responsibilities and power of the state governments is confined to the particular state. And it will also, now we can say that it will also focus, it will create a platform to focus on the target based, whereby more development can be seen and more opportunities can be seen. So we can say that federal system of government, the powers are distributed between union and state. Federalism is a form of government in which political power is divided between the central and the state governments, so that each of them independently work. That is, if they have independence in working, then ultimately they can work more. So this is the federal system what we are following in India. Now, this federal system, this has been given through the constitution, means these governments derive their powers from the constitution and exist independently of each other. That is, the central government exercises power over the citizens in the whole nation, whereas the state government exercises power only the people or the citizens living in that particular state. So we can say that the federal system, comparatively, if we talk, in India, we follow federal system of government. That is, we have government at the center and as well as government at the state level. So now this is the federal system of government. Now we have interstate mechanisms in India. That is, there are some provisions and mechanisms which will create, we can say, relation between one state and the another state. Interstate means relationship between one state and the other state. So in this, provisions for resolving disputes among them through the judicial process. That is, now, for example, we have water disputes between, now we see there are water disputes between Telangana and Andhra, Telangana and Karnataka, Telangana and Tamil Nadu. Why? Because the water which flows from one state to the other state, the water disputes, because the sharing of water is being decided by the central government, and the how much water has to be drawn, and the borders, everything is through provisions, that is through meetings and through collaborative efforts. These have to be solved by the two states. So this is one of the provision of this. Now under this, the Supreme Court has been given original jurisdiction with respect to the disputes arising among the states. Next provision we can say is for the development of interstate river, for the development of interstate river valley, for the interstate river valley development will be established by the center. As I have told you that there are the center takes care. The center is, as we all know, as I have told you that about the federal system, in this we have explained, we have seen in the federal system of this thing that the central government has the ultimate power, and it has to take care of the whole nation, whereas the states, they focus on their particular system, state only. So it is the responsibility of the state, of the center, to take care of all the states. Hence, it has to, if there are disputes between one state and the other state, that is, we have water boards, Kaveri water, Krishna water boards. Why? Because these boards are being assigned and given the responsibility of resolve the issues of the interstate. That is, which will create a platform whereby both the states will come together and try to address the problems and resolve the issues. So it will be a better aspects we can say. Now, next provision is Parliament may by law establish the Center Water Tribunal, Center to resolve interstate water disputes. That is, as I told you, Center Water disputes and the Kaveri Water Board, Krishna Water Board, all these are the disputes which are which we see between two states. Through this, many issues come up there, and the states might face a tough task to regulate water and to give water to the farmers. So this can be another important provision which has been exercised, or which has been given to address or resolve the interstate problems, and thereby creating better and cordial relationships between two states. And another important one is interstate council can be established by the Parliament of India based on the Article 263 of the Constitution. And under this interstate council, the following functions can be performed. Now, what are these following functions? The first one is investigating and discussing subjects on which are some of all the states or the unions, and that is common interest. That is, now the establishment of interstate council is, this interstate council was established taking the provisions from the Constitution, and the this was being established or constituted to address the common problems of the states, the common problems. Because now, if you see the most important common problems between the states is the border issues and the water issues, because the borders and the water are the major one, and the other might be trading, checkposts, forest lands. All these might be different aspects of these provisions. Then the second one is making recommendations upon any such a subject in Parliament. Recommendation for the better coordination of policy and action with respect to that subject. That is, if there is any subject to be addressed, it has to be put forward and it has to be resolved in this interstate council. And in this interstate council, the chief minister and the administrative head, that is the chief secretary, play a very, very important role. And they are the people who attend these meetings, because as we all know, the chief minister is the public representative and the government representative of the head on the political side. And the administrative head, the chief secretary, is the representative of the government and on the administrative aspect. So these two, the chief minister and the chief secretary, play a very, very important role in resolving these water disputes or the interstate problems. Now we can say, now what are the important interstate relations? How are the interstate relations in India? That is, a federal constitution involves sovereignty of the units within their respective jurisdictions. That is, sovereignty is of respective jurisdictions, means each individual state will have to take care of all the things, that is the jurisdictions, and they can work upon their problems. So they have all the authority and responsibility in their jurisdiction only. They cannot take decisions on the other states, and if they need to come out with any suggestions, they need to express their views in the interstate council only. And this interstate relations in India have that is the coordination between states. Coordination between states means they have to maintain a cordial relationship, a healthy relationship between the states, that is whereby trying to resolve their own problems, trying to maintain a good relationship whereby more of development can be seen and more of trade can be seen, more of tourism can be seen, whereby more of development of the state. Now, in turn, if each state develops, ultimately it is development of the country, we can say. So these are the important provisions of the we can say. And another important thing is, as I told you, freedom of interstate trade, commerce, and interactions. As I told you, if the states have a healthy relationship existing between the two states, then ultimately free trade can be done. And with that, what happens? Boosting of the economy can take place. More number of goods can go the borders, cross the borders, and everybody might be able to enjoy different different things or different materials of, or we can say for example, if we take fruits. Now, fruits are the best example of interstate, because now if you see in the seasonal fruits or the apples, more of apples, we can say the apples, the in the southern region we don't find apple trees because of the climatic conditions, because of these things. So these come from the from northern India, more of Kashmir and Shimla. Why? Because of this. That is, the climatic conditions are good. So if they have better cordial relationships between these states, then the products, the fruits can be enjoyed by all the states. But if there are any disputes, border disputes, trade disputes, hurdles coming up in providing better opportunities and better commerce as well. So we can say that it might create a disturbance, and it might give a negative thought to for in the development of the country. So because each and every state plays a very, very important role in the development of the country. So it is very, very important that the countries, the states should the states should take care. The states should take care of these interstate relations, and they should try to maintain. They should try to maintain a cordial relationship, whereby creating a conducive atmosphere to resolve the issues. Means they should not hang on one particular thing, and they should not behave to be as a stubborn person, because to resolve they have to step down and create a very good atmosphere, whereby to give a chance to the other people to resolve the issues. So this will give a better provisions in the developmental aspect. So each state, it tries to develop a good relationship with other states, then ultimately the country will develop. So it is, then we can. Now, for example, Telangana state has opened to all states, and it is inviting everybody anyway to settle down in Hyderabad, giving more of employment opportunities, or everything to boost economy, and giving space for all the people. So it is creating a better place for development. Now, we will move on to the next topic, Unit 13, Development Projects, Rehabilitation and Resettlement. Now, what do we understand by the term development projects? As I told you in the initial stage of the class, development is moving from one level to the higher level, that is, so attaining better standards. So that is development. Now, if you talk about developmental projects in Telangana or in India, that to boost the economy. Now we have seen the best examples we can see are the metro rails, or the setting up of IT companies, going for more of flyovers, subways, or we can say, now what are all these? These are the developmental projects. Why? To facilitate or to provide or to give the citizens more facilities to work more, to enjoy in their, that is, in their place, and making a better place to live also, we can see. Now, the developmental projects in India can be classified into three types. They are public utility projects such as power, telecommunications, piped water supply, sanitation, and solid waste management, and piped gas. These are the public utility development projects. Now, as we all know that laying of water pipes or then providing of power, these are all the public utilities, means basic services which it is the responsibility of the government to provide to the, these can be considered as the basic services or the basic necessary services for the citizens. Then the second one is public work projects, namely roads, major dams and canals for irrigation and drainage. These are, as I told you, that is laying of roads, flyovers, major irrigational canals, providing irrigational facilities, canals and the drainage facilities. All these are the, we can say, public work projects. The third one is transport sector projects. Now we all know what is a transport sector projects. Transport sector projects relating to railways, ports, airports, all these. So now we can say, as I told you, metro rail is a public transport which is being given by the government to facilitate ease of traveling to the citizens from one corner of the city to the other corner of the city. So we can say, but we can, however, we can, proper management of these projects are important not only for the sector-wise development of the economy, but also integration of Indian economy with the economies of the world. That is, if we develop, then we can prove ourselves and create a mark in the development, and we can showcase our country in the international standards. So the developmental projects play a very, very important role. Now, what are the principles governing these developmental projects? That is, managing developmental projects like business, not as a bureaucratic. Now, what do we understand by business and not bureaucratic? That is, these projects need to be conceived and run as a service industry that responds to the customer demand. And it is not about controlling things. That is, now, for example, if we like take the example of power. Power is being controlled by the state government, and it is the responsibility of the state government to provide uninterrupted power to the citizens. Now, this has to be taken care of like a business, but not like bureaucratic, whereby business means target oriented. That is, if the government gives quality power, uninterrupted power, then people or the citizens will also pay their fees or the bills in a proper manner, whereby there is a give and take policy going on. And to have more profits, the government should come out with some of the initiatives which will create a very good atmosphere, and many of them will be relying on the government. Then the second one important one principle can be introducing competition. Introducing competition, that is, to have efficiency and accountability. That is, how to create this competition. That is, it can create competition through n number of things can be introduced, which will whereby give out a competition, healthy competition, that is demand and supply. Then we have public-private partnerships as well. Now, what do we understand by public-private partnership? That is, 50% of the government will be involved and 50% private people will be involved. So when both of them come together to develop the city and to provide better facilities to the citizens, then it is called as public-private partnership. Why the government is going for public-private partnership? Because the government is unable to provide all the necessary economic help and all the things. So it is opening up and inviting private people to join the government as stakeholders. So the government will be giving them all the necessary inputs and now, for example, the government of Telangana, the government of Telangana has constructed the secretariat, the newly constructed one. Now, this secretariat is being constructed by the government with the help of the private people. So the private people the government has called for tenders, and they have invested their money, and they will claim that later on from the government. So this can be termed as public-private partnership. Then we have sector-wise developmental projects, that is power projects, computer networks, and radio networks, television networks. All these are we can say developmental projects which are being rehabilitated and resettled for the development of the country and the state. So now what are the operationalization of these developmental projects? The developmental projects, that is, now there should be a national rehabilitation and resettlement policy, that is that of 2003, that we have a national rehabilitation and resettlement policy of 2003. Now, which ensures now who has come up with this? The Ministry of Rural Development announced a national policy on this rehabilitation and resettlement for project affected families, that is minimizing displacement and to promote that is now to take up these projects, to take up these developmental projects. Some of the lands will be taken up from the citizens, some of their agricultural lands will be taken. So to compensate them, rehabilitated or resettlement, that is from taking them from one place to another place and creating and giving them a platform to settle down. That is called as rehabilitation and resettlement. This policy has come up in the year 2003. Now we will move on to the last topic, that is Unit 14, digitalization. Now we are in the era of digitalization. Why? Because the world is more connected place today with the concept of global village. Now, what do we understand by this? That is, sitting here, we can talk to a person live in the person in the other country. Means each one of them connecting to the whole world, that is globally. In and around, you can get access to any person, anytime, wherever you wish to. So that is a global village. Now this is possible. Now how is this possible? This is only possible through ICT. That is the development of ICT. What do you mean by ICT? Information, communication, and communication technology. ICT is information and communication technology. Now, we will discuss what is the meaning of this digitalization. Digitalization is the transitioning of documents and storage from a traditional paper-based system to an electronic format. Now, whatever we are experiencing now, Presently, we are in an online class. This is digitalization. Previously, we used to have classes physically. You used to visit the study centers, and the classes used to be only Friday, Saturday and Sunday, or only Sundays. But now we are connected whenever we wish to. That is, we can conduct an online class and connect with each other, exchange ideas, thoughts. Now, how is this possible? Through digitalization. So what is digitalization? Digitalization is the transitioning of documents and storage from a transitional paper-based system to an electronic format. Now, through this digitalization, what are the important advantages? It reduces the process time, it reduces the errors, and it improves the transparency and efficiency, and more of effectiveness can be seen. And moreover, we can say that competitiveness also increases, and less of paper will be used, and in less time the works will be completed. So sitting anywhere you can work on. Anybody need not come to the office and work. They can work from wherever they are sitting. So this can be a very, very innovative aspect in the aspects of digitalization. Now, if you talk about digitalization in simple words, digitalization of administration means bringing reforms such as electronic filing and documentation, and promoting information sharing through an information networks in administration. That is, exchange of ideas, exchange of thoughts, decision making are being taken up in administrative aspects. That is the meaning of digitalization. Now, what are the significance, or we can say benefits of digitalization? To name a few, the first one is cost saving, because we will use less of paper, less stationery will be used, no physical labor. So you need not assign or hire many people. Two people's work can be done by only one person. So cost cutting, cost saving, through this digitalization, cost savings can be seen. Then quicker, easier, more effective and efficient business processes. Yes, through this, we have quicker things, easier things to manage. Then improved transparency and accountability. Then automated collection and payment processes through structured electronic document sharing. That is, through WhatsApp or through these things, with the documents are shared through mails. The documents are shared whereby they need not travel to that person to deliver the information. So sitting with one click, the opposite person will receive the documents, and the things will be done in a very, very short span of time. So this will give a very, very better and competitive atmosphere for the people to address these issues, we can say. Then we have we can say that the government, the leadership, talent, and culture. That is, with this leadership skills can be addressed. All these can be taken into considerations. Now, when we talk about the digitalization in India, that is, the state governments in India have made digital governance a focus of their reforms. Now, we all know digitalization. Now, India, particularly Telangana state, has become one of the most, or I can say, most important and number one state to go for more of digitalization. That is, setting up of many MNCs, going off all the government offices, going paperless, less paper, stationery is used, less manpower is used. So whereby creating more of awareness and more giving a better platform for these digitalizations. We can say that this helps in more faster development, more faster innovative methods can be introduced. And also we can say that previously we used to talk only about the governance. Then we started to transform ourselves and started talking about good governance. Now presently we are talking about e-governance. Electronic governance means the government at your doorstep. Because if you need any, as a citizen, if you need any information, you can just go to the website of that particular government department and you will get all the ready-made information by yourself. And any citizen will not be, may not be able to depend upon any person or anything, thereby creating a better, quicker standards of information. So this, but thereby creating a better opportunities, transparency, accountability is being given more priority through this, and less time is needed for this. Now, apart from all these, there are some challenges of digitalization as well. That is, digital literacy is essential in empowering the citizens to secure required online data. That is, we all know that India is a developing country, and more of the people are in the rural background, are from the rural background, and more of illiteracy can be seen. So due to these negative aspects or these disadvantages, we can say that going for more of digitalization might become a hindrance in the developmental process, because of this digital literacy, because many of them are not literate, so they don't know how to operate them, they don't know how to know, or the online, for example, online payments. If you go to the remote villages, the elderly people and more of women, they don't know how to, they don't have that awareness how to go do these digital payments or online payments, and they don't know, they might be lagging behind in getting the rightful information. So this might be an hindrance, we can say, in the part of digitalization. But when we talk about digitalization, India has come out with a more of innovative and better strategies in the developmental aspects, whereby giving and showing the world that we are not less than any developed country. So this is all about the digitalization in India. And in today's class, we discussed about Unit 11, Development Corporations for Weaker Sections, Unit 12, Interstate Relations, Unit 13, Development Projects, Rehabilitation and Resettlement, and Unit 14, Digitalization. So this is all about these 4 topics, and this we have finished our syllabus in today's class. If you have anything, you can come up. Okay, thank you.